As we're approaching the end of 2024, I wanted to do a quick roundup of everything we've gained in Walkabout this year, and at the end of the video to quickly cover the latest features gained in the most recent update. So be sure to stick around until then, and in the meantime, enjoy the summary. We started the year with the release of Around the World in 80 Days, the last course in the Jules Verne trilogy, and probably my favourite. After that, we hit the milestone 20,000 members on our Discord. This remains a great place to meet players, to socialise, to talk about the game, to find out information, to raise tickets. They also host trivia nights on there. There are routine course voting knockout sessions, shot challenges. I also want to take a moment to give a thanks to the moderators that work very hard on a volunteer basis to keep the Discord running. So to Verath, to Fire, Day, Froman, Bill, an honorary mention to Bear, and all past moderators. Just a big thank you for all the work that you do on there to keep the community going. Moving on from that, we saw the release of Ice Lair, the second in the Evil Lairs series following Laser. We then gained a feature in the Forfeit Hole button, which can be found in the settings screen in case you really just want to give up on a hole and move on. Then we moved on to see the great Aardman release of Wallace and Gromit. Absolutely love that course and all its animations, and hopefully you all got a chance to see the latest Wallace and Gromit release at Christmas, Vengeance Most Foul. Next we saw the release of the DLC Venice, which was our first real-world course. We also saw some updates to accessibility settings in the settings screen. I particularly like the ability to enlarge the wristwatch. That's something that I use from this feature set. Moving on next, we saw the fantastic remaster of the Cherry Blossom course, one of my absolute favourites from the Core 8. We also saw Cherry Blossom released as an extra in Puzzling Places, so if you have that game, you can also assemble Cherry Blossom there. That same release also introduced us to brand new game modes. This is one of the most popular releases this year, and I think of all time in the game. I absolutely love the new ways to compete and play. Race mode is one of my absolute favourites. It's a brilliant way to have a round in, less than 10 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. The buzz of it is fantastic. It's a completely new way to play, but there are also the other types that I know a lot of you enjoy for competitive play. Moving on to avatar packs, we saw the first DLC avatar pack, the first paid one, which is Fraggle Rock. And at the same time, we saw slingshots introduced on the driving range. So this has had an update recently, which I'll come to at the end of the video, but I'm sure a lot of you have tried slingshots on the driving range, which itself is a nice fun way to pass the time, but the slingshots are a really interesting way to take the game mechanics that they've already built around the golf and add something else to it, which still feels very Walkabout. Moving on, we saw Mars Gardens released, which introduced low gravity mode for the first time, and shortly after that, we saw that low gravity mode appear in Tethys Station and Atlantis because of space and underwater. So a really great feature for Mars Gardens, a beautifully designed course, but then this added shift to Tethys and Atlantis to bring those courses to life in a whole new way. We then saw our second avatar pack in Dark Crystal, which was the second Jim Henson avatar pack. Moving on, we saw the huge release of Pocket Edition, so you can now play Walkabout Mini Golf on your iOS phone or device. This is a lovely update for those of you that want to enjoy Walkabout in a different way. It also allows you to pair up with people playing on Pocket Edition if you're in VR and the other way around, so another brilliant way to connect people, which is one of the great features of this game. Our penultimate course release for the year was 8-Bit Lair, the third in the Evil Lairs series and one of my favourite courses in the game. This featured the playable arcade machines on the arcade tier of the course, but also as another spin-off we saw Arcade Legend VR put a 1983 version of Walkabout in their game in an arcade cabinet. Moving on from that, we saw makeup added to the avatars screen, and then onto our final course release, we saw Holiday Hideaway, which was the 30th course and a lovely gem to have around Christmas time. So now, with that, we move on to our most recent updates. So slingshots, a lot of you have enjoyed on the driving range. Slingshots have now been added to 3 courses so far, and they are Tourist Trap, Cherry Blossom, and Alfheim. This is a beautiful addition to these courses and another little way to enjoy the environments without necessarily playing the golf. This mode can be accessed from the main menu, but also from the scorecard when you're inside the course. It comes with both easy and hard variants, so a variation on the targets that you're hitting and where they're placed and how they move. And you've also got the modes that you've seen from the driving range already. So you can practice, you can go for your best score in 10 balls, you can go for a 60-second timed game, or you can go for how long it takes to hit all the targets. So this is a really lovely addition and a great way to take a new perspective on the courses, maybe sit somewhere you haven't been before and just fling some balls around. Next up we had our Exploding Kittens avatars. Now these are hilariously funny. It's another paid avatar set, but these are so good, and if you think you like them just as they are here, you should see them when they're talking. So if you get a chance to play with someone who is talking to you, I'm sure you'll see what I mean and enjoy those greatly. This came also with the hugely requested update to the ball tray. We were running out of space for our balls, so to speak. And the way Mighty Coconut have implemented this is just beautiful. As they come down the chute, they get filtered very neatly into course collections, so you can see which 18 balls belong to which course. It also helps you spot, if you've got a keen eye, which ones you're missing, as in from which courses, and then go into the course themselves and have a look at the scorecard to see which hole you're missing. The other great benefit of this is that you've got a reserve section on the left-hand side for the most recent balls you've used. So if you are playing around with trying something else, if you've got a favourite that you want to return to after trying something else for a round or two, you can always see it there in your most recently used balls rather than having to go and locate it from the course selection. Finally, in terms of updates, I did want to say a number of you have noticed this staff room, which we've kept quiet for a number of years now, but I know it's getting more popular. Please, if you go down to these hallways, be sure to turn the lights off behind you. It gets very expensive for Mighty Coconut to foot that energy bill. And if you are coming back from Shangri-La, please do wipe your feet when returning. There is sand everywhere. I can't tell you how long that takes to clean up. Anyway, on a personal note, I wanted to thank you all for the channel support. This year I have had just under 1 million views. I'm not sure if we're going to reach that in the next 2 days. Probably unlikely. That constitutes just over 50,000 hours of watch time, which is an incredible number for me to just absorb from where this started, and over 4,000 new subscribers this year alone. So thank you all so much for your support. If you've liked this video, please do leave it a like, drop me a comment down below. I hope you're all enjoying the end of the year and you've enjoyed what 2024 has brought to you. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and if you are, thank you for being a subscriber and for supporting the channel. I look forward to seeing you all in 2025 and indeed to what Walkabout has to offer.